Lord, this is your boy Horror Gamer back from Command Central, Horror Haven, back with another video for you. And I apologize for the background noise. It's a real spooky and windy kind of October night. And you know, my Horror Haven is in the garage, so you're going to hear a lot of wind blowing up against the garage door and everything, but that's nor here nor there. Tonight's video that I'm going to make for you is another movie review for you. And in the spirit of Halloween, I'm going to do a movie that actually came out way back, about 28 years ago, in 1992. Today marks the 28th anniversary of said movie. And it came out October 16th, 1992. And the movie is, boom, Candyman. Now this movie, before I get into anything else, remember, your boy Horror Gamer's reviews have spoilers all day, every day. If you haven't seen Candyman, I feel bad for you. This movie is 28 years old. If you haven't seen it yet, that's your fault. Or 27 years, one of those two. It's 27 years old. If you haven't seen it in 27 years, then that's on you. This movie's been out for a while. Anyway, I'm going to get into plot details, you know, the story, what happens, beginning, end, yada, yada, yada. So, if you want to see the movie before I dive into this review, pause this, go watch the movie, come back, tell me what you think in the comment section, and like always, don't forget, hit the subscribe button and tap that little ding-a-ling-ding-ding button, so every time your boy Horror Gamer puts up a new video, you're not left in the dark. Now, with all those disclaimers being said, I do apologize for the way I'm dressed before we do that. I just got back from the gym, so I'm actually just trying to get the fuck away from people. So I came to my little Horror Haven. But anyway, with all that being said, let's get into this movie. What are my thoughts about Candyman? This movie was one of my favorite movies as a kid, okay? This movie scared the shit out of me. It's based off of a short story by Clive Barker called The Forbidden. Basically, the story is about a slave who falls in love with a slave owner's daughter. They have an affair, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's forbidden. And so these villagers hunt this man down, saw his arm off with a rusty saw, and cover him in honey, and then cover him in bees. So he's bleeding out and he's being stung to death by all these bees. Well, with his last dying breath, he puts a curse on these people, saying, you know, I'll be back, and I'll be back to take everything. You know, I'll split you from your groin to your gullet, and I will shed the innocent blood. You know, all that. So let's fast forward a little bit. This woman who is trying to do a case study of urban legends and folklore is interviewing with this girl from the college, and she's telling her the story about Candyman. You know, this girl invited this guy over. They went up to the bathroom. That was the night that she was going to have sex with this guy. They started saying Candyman in the mirror and this weird sexual fucking weirdness. Like, if you're going to have sex with somebody, the last thing I would want to do in that scenario is go to the mirror and say Candyman. I don't know. Well, anyway, that turns them on, I guess, whatever. So they're sitting there saying, you know, they're saying Candyman, and they get to 4 times, because you have to say it 5 times in the mirror, and shut the lights off, and he'll show up behind you. He has a hook for where his hand was, and he'll cut you. So they stop at 4. She looks at him and says, nobody's ever got past 4. So she's like, go downstairs, wait for me. At this point, she's, you know, her top's off, you know, they're ready to book a one, you know what I mean? And she's like, go downstairs, wait for me, I'll be down in a minute, okay? So he goes down, he's sitting there drinking a beer, you know, having a good time. And the funny part is, it's Sam Remy, who is this kid, so it's fun to see him in it. He's playing this little kid, so He's not really a little kid, you know. He's an adult trying to play a teenager like they all do. But it's funny to see him in the movie. He's only in the movie for like 2 minutes, 3 tops. There's this kid who's gonna have sex with this girl. Well, anyway, for some fucking reason, that's beyond me, she sends him downstairs, and then she says Candyman's name for the 5th time in the mirror, shuts the light off. My man's comes up behind her. All you hear her do is scream. He's sitting there, and then you see this blood comes from the ceiling down on him, and he runs out the door. And then it cuts to them talking about the urban legend and how he killed the baby, yada yada. Well, this woman is so obsessed with finding out this story that she goes to great lengths to get her paper published. Her husband is a teacher at the local college, and he's teaching folklore, and it was to the point where she wanted him to not teach it for that semester so she can get good. It was something weird. And he's like, I can't stop. Sorry about that. For some reason, my camera decided to shut off. Well, anyway, he's like, I can't stop curriculum. So she goes behind his back and starts like asking questions and stuff. And she's doing this research, and the music that they play in this movie, it's beautiful. Like it's creepy. It sends chills down your spine, but in the same way, it's a beautiful score. Like the music is amazing. So she's doing this research, and she finds out that, well, there's a place called Cabrini Green. Okay, it's like the slums, the ghetto, whatever. And she's doing research, and there was a woman who was murdered in Cabrini Green. Somebody came through the wall and killed her with a hook. Okay, so everybody puts that towards the Candyman folklore, you know, that it's somebody killing people. Well, typical stupid ass, instead of leaving well enough alone, she's like, hey, let's go to Cabrini Green and check it out. You know what I mean? What the fuck? So her and her friend, they go to this place called Cabrini Green. I'm not going to give you the full beginning to end. I'm going to cut some parts out. Like I said, watch the movie. It's a great movie. It scared the shit out of me as a kid. And Jordan Peele, who's knocked out home runs in 2 movies, is doing the reboot. So, and Tony Todd, there's rumored that he's coming back to sport the hook in the reboot. So that's going to be great. Tony Todd, of course, plays Candyman. Anyway, back to the review. So her and her friend go to Cabrini Green to check out this woman's apartment, you know, trying to see what's going on, because these people in Cabrini Green are so hell-bent on the fact that this person who died, who killed this woman, it was Candyman, came through the wrong guy. Well, she goes into the apartment, she's taking pictures, and she opens up the medicine cabinet, and there's a hole in the wall. Well, that explains the coming through the wall, okay? So there's a hole in the wall, she climbs through and she's taking pictures, and she's going through different apartments, because I guess they're like fucked up or whatever, because it's a slum-ass fucking place. So she's going through those apartments, and then as she's coming through the one area, there's a huge painting of Candyman with his mouth hanging wide open, where the hole is where she's crawling through. And on the ground, there's like candy with razor blades in it, and it says sweets to the sweet. So she's taking pictures, blah blah blah, and then they go and leave. She runs out of film, so she leaves. Later, she decides to go back by herself to this ghetto ass fucking terrible place by herself to take more pictures. So she runs into this little boy, and he's telling her a story about a little boy a few years back who, his mom was in the store, he was being bad, he really had to go to the bathroom, so she sent him across the street to the public bathroom, and a couple minutes later he starts screaming bloody murder. So this big tough guy walks over to see what's going on. He comes out pale as a ghost. Apparently, Candyman attacked this little boy in this public bathroom and cut his dick off, cut his wee-wee off. He's laying there, and they show the picture of him covered in blood everywhere, and he's holding himself screaming. Poor, I couldn't imagine. That would be terrible. But anyway, so she goes to the bathroom where this happened, and she's just being nosy. She's doing too much. So she's looking through these, like I said, I apologize for the noises, it's the wind. But she's looking through these stalls, and as she's pushing, she walks in, there's this god-awful odor. And she looks at the wall, and on the wall, written in shit, mind you, written in actual poop, was sweets for the sweets, and then it had an arrow pointing to the door. So she opened the door, and then the lid was shut to the toilet. Well, she goes to lift the lid because there's an arrow pointing down. It's covered in fucking bees. There's bees all in this thing. So she closes it and gets ready to leave. Here, a group of gangsters come in, and this guy comes in with a long leather jacket, like a little badass, and she's like, I'll be out of your way in a minute. And he pulls out a hook. And he's like, I heard you're looking for Candyman, bitch. And he says, well, you found him. And he fucking hits her with the hook and beats the shit out of her. So after he beats the shit out of her and they leave, the little boy comes in and sees her laying out, so they call the police. And then the police come, ambulance comes, takes her away. And then it shoots to a scene where she's in the police station and she IDs the person. Okay. Well, her friend comes and sees her as she's leaving the police station and is giving her the film from the pictures. And she got published. So she got what she wanted. She ended up getting published for this. Well, she's walking to her car. She hears, oh, and she's looking around, and she hears the voice again, real deep. And then, this is where the fuckery begins. At the end of the parking lot, my man Tony Todd, the actual Candyman, is standing there. And he walks up to her with his bloody hook, and he tells her, you didn't believe in me. He tells her, you tried to expose me as a fake. And nobody believes in me, so I need you to be my victim. And together, we will go down in history, eternal. Your story will be told by campfires to scare children. All this stuff. He's feeding her this line of bullshit. And then she passes out. Wakes up in a house covered in blood. Woman is screaming in the other room. She's back for some reason at Cabrini Green, covered in blood, and this woman's freaking out because her baby's missing, and she's covered in blood. And here, the woman's dog's head's laying on the floor, and Helen's holding a meat cleaver. So it looks like she cut the dog's head off and did something with the baby, but she did it. It was Candyman. So, fast forward a little bit. Candyman relentlessly stalks her this whole movie, and her life just falls the fuck apart. She ends up in a mental institution. Her husband ends up cheating on her, and leaving her, and so she feels like she has nothing left to lose. So she basically goes to Candyman and says, I'll be your victim to save this baby, because now it's become a quest to save this little baby, because Candyman said, if you be my victim, I'll spare the child. So everybody from Cabrini Green threw all this shit out in this big fucking pile to have this big bonfire and celebration. And so she goes back to Cabrini Green to be Candyman's victim. Well, it turns out Candyman ends up putting the baby into this pile of shit that's about to get burned. So she goes into the pile with the hook, and she's trying to get the baby. Well, the boy she was talking to her earlier in the film sees the hook and tells everybody Candyman's in there. I saw the hook, Candyman's in there. So all these people come out with gasoline and torches, and they basically start burning this fucking pile of garbage while her and the baby are in there. And she's trying to get to the baby. She gets to the baby and she's on her way out, and Candyman comes behind her and stops her you know. And here she's like trying to break free and stuff, and this baby's screaming, and they're being, you know, it's starting to get dire here because everything's starting to catch on fire. But she manages to free herself from Candyman because some trash caves in on him, and it knocks Candyman back, but it lands on her. So she frees herself, and she's on fire as she's, you know, crawling out of this trash, this burning trash, to give the woman her baby. And they throw like this towel on her, and her hair is gone, 3rd-degree burns on her head, her back is burnt, you can see her ribs, you know, her sweater and shit's melted to her, and she gives the woman her baby, and, you know, she's laying there, and Candyman burns, and all these bees fly out, and, you know, that's the scene. And then they cut to the next scene where she's laying in a coffin. She's basically, she succumbed to her burns and died. And they're having a funeral, and her husband's there, and her husband's girlfriend's there, which is bullshit. And everybody from Greeny Green comes to her funeral to say goodbye. And then at the end of the movie, her husband is in the bathroom crying. And, you know, he's like, you know, what did I do? He remembers when she made him dinner and kissed, you know, and the good times they were having. And then, you know, his new girlfriend's trying to get him to come eat. He's like, I'll be here in a minute, I'll be here in a minute. And then he's sitting there, he's looking at the mirror, and he says her name 5 times, and then fucking turns the light off, and she appears behind him with a hook. And she's like, you know, what's the matter, Trevor? It looks like you've seen a ghost, and fucking kills him with the hook. And then his girlfriend comes in and sees him laying there with his guts all laying out and shit, and she starts screaming bloody murder, and then that was the end of the movie. Great movie, fucking scary story. I urge you to watch this movie because it was beautiful. The score is beautiful, the story is beautiful. Everything about this movie says Halloween. So, I'm glad you enjoyed the review. I hope you can leave me some comments in the comment section. If you've seen it, let me know what you think. If you liked it, you liked it. If you didn't, tell me I'm full of shit. But don't forget to subscribe and hit the ding-a-ling-ding-ding button, like I said earlier, so you're never in the dark when I make new videos. The next video I'm coming out with is going to be an open discussion video, and it's going to actually be a video about a cryptid that actually lives near my area. I literally live maybe half a mile, if that, from where this cryptid's supposed to haunt. And a cryptid is like a creature that is, it's almost like a Bigfoot. Okay, that's what a cryptid is. A cryptid is a creature that there's not a lot of evidence of, but it exists, because I believe it exists. It's called the Albatwitch. And tomorrow, I hope I'm making this video right now. It's actually Wednesday the 16th. This will probably be out tomorrow, Thursday, the 17th. So look for the open discussion of the Albatwitch on Friday, because I'm a day behind. So, but it's pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting story. It's a pretty interesting urban legend, and it's a pretty interesting facts about what these creatures are. So that's tomorrow's video. Alright, horror. With all that being said, I love you guys to death. Thank you for sitting through this review. Like I said, if you enjoy it, hit the like button. If you don't enjoy it, tell me I'm bullshit at the bottom. But thank you guys. I love you guys. Thank you for being patient with me. I hope you enjoyed the last video, which was the movie review for you, the Joker movie. That was the shit. But anyway, like I said, Horror Haven's coming together. I got a few things to get yet. I'm looking to get a rug, a couple other things to make it my own. So, and I will definitely bring you guys along for the ride as I do each step to make it better and better. So, with all that being said, Horror, this has been your boy Horror Gamer saying, as always, I love you. And remember, don't fear the darkness. Embrace it.